All content is publicly sourced and used under the USA Fair Use and UK Fair Dealing Guidelines. The things I say are strictly my opinion. Good evening, everyone. It's the Bizzy Bee with the Royal Tea. It is the 14th of October. Hope you're all having a great Wednesday, aka Hump Day, so far. Wow, doesn't Mrs. Harkle look great here? That's the best I've seen her in a while. Somebody write me down the number of that makeup artist. I need to get them over here to work on me. Okay, I have quite a bit I want to cover today, and we have all day to do it, so let's waste some time. I wonder how many people paid, and what was the amount of money that was raised, and how much Smegs received. You know what? This person who left the comment on my last video, they're talking about the Fortune Zoom call that Smegs had yesterday, charging $1,750 a pop. Well, you know what I did today? Actually, I called Fortune magazine to find out how many people actually bought tickets and tuned in for the trash fest known as the Smegs Zoom call. They gave me the runaround. They told me to contact the editorial board. I looked up the editorial board's contact information. All I had was a bunch of email addresses. So I wrote an email and I CC'd about 10 people in on it. Every email address I could find for these folks. I haven't received a response yet. But as soon as I do, I will certainly keep you all updated. I am so curious to know how many crazy folks paid $1,750 to listen to Smegs speak for 15 minutes. You know there are crazy folks in this world, and some people did. For today's royal fact of the day, I have Mary of Modena, the queen consort of James II. Now, she was queen consort from 1685 to 1688. And from my math knowings, I conjure that to be 3 years. I chose this picture of her. There were quite a few to pick from, but because she had the dog with her, you know I love dogs. Alright, there is the coat of arms. What a lovely blue hawk? Falcon? Mary was James's second wife. She married him before he became king. He had 2 small children from his first marriage, his first wife having passed away. Mary was 25 years younger than James when when James presented his kids to Mary for the first time, he introduced her as their new playmate. When Mary first met James at their wedding ceremony, yes, I said that correctly, the first time she met him was the day they got married. And for the first few years of their marriage, Mary detested James. Every time she would see him, she would burst into tears. And I read that this was because he had some bad smallpox scarring on his face, along with some other scarring issues, but she later warmed to him, and it turned out to be quite a loving marriage. Eventually, she quit bursting into tears, and that's a great sign that a marriage is going to work when you stop bursting into tears every time you see your spouse. For today's episode of As the Stomach Turns, the latest adventures of the many Harkles, well, yesterday, as we discussed before, Smegs got candid on a Zoom call for Fortune magazine, and she talked about why she left social media. And my goodness, look at this picture of her. Time in quarantine has not been good to Smegs, has it? It has caused her to age significantly. Boy, oh boy, it's time they lift these restrictions so she can get out of the house. Okay, Smegs Harkle was quite active on social media before she met Harry Harkle. Her lifestyle blog, The Tig, and her personal Instagram account had quite the following, and the then Suit star documented her travels, charity work, and yummy meals. Charity work? Now, that bites me as a little bit questionable, because as I understood it, the only time she did charity work was in the short time right before she met Harry Harkle. She found out, of course, that he was into African orphans, so she scheduled a big trip over there with a photographer in tow, of course, because that's the only way to do it, to take a few pictures of her, so when she had that first date with Harry Harkle, she could say, I've been to Africa, oh, I care so much about the orphans, so she could, have that extra step in landing that prince. Anyway, moving on. Since those days, much has changed, including the nothing of nowhere's relationship with the internet. Smegs opened up about her decision to leave social media during a sit-down for Fortune's Most Powerful Women Next Gen Summit. For my own self-preservation, I have not been on social media for a very long time. Excuse me? That's another lie out of Smegs' mouth. I bet all she does all day is sit around and Google herself, watch YouTube videos that people like me have posted about her, because I do occasionally get a mean comment from a sugar. I know that's you, Smegs, because nobody cares about you enough to go on the YouTube and leave nasty comments. So that's definitely you. Okay. I had a personal account years ago, which I closed down, and then we had one through the institution. Does she mean her in-laws when she says the institution? Or does she mean the place that her husband was released from before the marriage? I don't know. And our office that was in the UK that wasn't managed by us, that was a whole team. And so I think that comes with the territory for the job you have. The Nothings, aka the Harkles, ceased publishing to their Sussex Royal account after they stepped down as working royals earlier this year. They quit posting to it because they had to, not because they wanted to. Get it straight. Smegs continued. Now, let me stop right there. I know what you're saying. Why didn't you mark out her face like you usually do? It's because when I saw this, you know what immediately ran through my mind? In the small town that I'm from in Georgia, there was this car wash there, and they had commercials. And when I saw this, I immediately thought that she reminded me of one of those car wash girls in those commercials back in my hometown. And another thing I want to point out, and I'm quite embarrassed to say this, but look at what she's wearing. Okay, I know you're thinking, but females wear things like that all the time, with spaghetti straps, etc. Correct, they do. But she was appearing on this Fortune Zoom call using her title, which she obtained through her in-laws, the British royal family. Now, when the Duchess of Cambridge, Catherine, appears using her title, does she show this much skin? I don't think so. And as a matter of fact, she never shows this much skin in public anymore since she married into the royal family. Even though Smegs isn't a working member, she should know better than to go around showing that much, okay? This is just, no, absolutely not. Can you ever see Her Majesty the Queen in public wearing something like this, showing that much skin? I mean, look, you can see her rib plate. Oh my, I am shaking my head in disbelief. If you could see me, you would know. Smegs continued, I have made a personal choice to not have any account, so I don't know what's out there, and in many ways, that should say, that's helpful for me. I have a lot of concerns for people that have become obsessed with it, and it is so much a part of our daily culture for so many people that it's an addiction like many others. There are very few things in this world where you call the person who is engaging with it a user. A user. Maybe she takes offense to that word because that's what she is. She used her husband to get a title. She's using that title to merch herself and make money. Maybe that is why she's so offended by the word user. Smegs added, people who are addicted to certain things are called users, and people who are on social media are called users. There is something in there, algorithmically, that is creating this obsession. Stop right there. Scratch the record. Hold the tape. Did Smegs say that people who use social media are like people who are addicted to certain things? Because I think that's what I just read. Well, can I share something with you all that's just a little bit personal? My biological father died of a drug overdose, okay? He was addicted to alcohol and pills. Smegs, as far as any of us know, has never had to deal with addiction in her life by her parents or anyone else. She doesn't know what it's like. They steal money, they lie. Every time you turn around, they're hurting you. Every time the phone rings and you see their name there, you don't know if they're calling you for money, they're calling you for this, they're calling you for whatever. So, no, Smegs, somebody with their head stuck in a computer is not like somebody who's lying, scheming, and scamming every time they turn around trying to get some substances, okay? So you do not know what you're talking about, and I take great offense at you saying that and making that comparison, to be quite honest. It's very offensive. Do you all agree? Leave it in the comments if you think so. I've dealt with addiction in my family. I know what it's like. I've never dealt with someone who is addicted to social media, but I've certainly dealt with someone who is addicted to substances and alcohol. And it is nothing like social media. Let me tell you that. Shut up, girl. I wish I could reach through this computer and give you the what's what. And look here. A little birdie happened to tell me what the Harkles were thinking at the very moment that they did this wedding kiss. And as you can see, I illustrated what the little birdie told me. Okay, moving on. Really, who could blame Smegs Harkle for wanting to remove herself from a toxic environment? The Nothing recently spoke out about being the most trolled person in the world in 2019 on the Teenager Therapy podcast. Let me stop right there again. I believe this to be another untruth from the lie. I'm sorry. Another Freudian slip. Another untruth from the mouth of Smegs. The most trolled person in 2019? I don't think so. I would have to think... Oh my goodness, I just ate dinner, excuse me. I would have to think that the person who received the most online negativity was the President of the United States. That's just my opinion, though. What was able to just be manufactured and churned out is almost unsurvivable. Oh dear, she said. No, ma'am. Let me tell you what's almost unsurvivable. Cancer, addiction, many other diseases. So, no. Being talked bad about on the internet is not something that is unsurvivable. Try being diagnosed with cancer, Smegs. That's something that is practically unsurvivable, okay? So, again, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Moving on. That's so big, you can't even think of what it feels like, because I don't care if you're 15 or 25, or claiming to be 37 and really 49. If people are saying things about you that are not true, what that does to your mental and emotional health is so damaging. Topics, Smegs Harkle, and trash. Very accurate. A few comments from yesterday's video, which was a tad bit controversial. She likes on her knees also. I seen it on Google with Marcus Anderson and Harry Harkle. Well, now, I don't think she gets on her knees for Marcus Anderson. I know she does for Harry Harkle, but not for Marcus Anderson. I believe Marcus Anderson gets on his knees for Scooby-Doo. I'm sorry. Don't forget about Serena Williams' husband. A health warning should be issued every time Smegs is about to speak, warning the listener they are about to experience uncontrollable nausea. She's a great leader of Princess Harry Harkle. She has no education to be a president. What's she gonna say? You can't fire that weapon. I'm a woman. Or, Harry, the other side isn't playing fair. What do I do? She's flipping crazy. They'd chew her up and spit her out. Let's vote for Smegsy for president, y'all. I love it. Smegs for president 2024. You can hire me for campaign manager. I would love to do that. You've got my number, Smegs. Bizzy Bee. My dog lactated to raise her kitten, LOL, but Megsy's plastic baby doll only needs batteries. Love the videos, Bizzy Bee. including the royal facts of the day. When Megafake falls, she is going to fall very hard. No one deserves their comeuppance more than her. I'm waiting with bated breath. The only position she can hold is the most overly inflated, overpriced blowhard there is. Great video. Why, thank you. Thank you very much. What have we learned today? Well, the first thing that I've learned, quarantining has not been kind to Smegs. No, it hasn't. All her hair has gone white. Number 2, you and I are addicts. I'm glad we had Smegs to point that out to us, because I would have been in, what's that word? Denial, if she hadn't. Okay. Number 3, the only knee involvement between Smega and Marcus Anderson is if she helps him clean off his knees after he services Omid Scooby-Doo. Number 4, Smegosaurus comes with a healthy warning to notify you she is carrying every viral infection to hit the market since 1962, which happens to be the year that Smega was born. Number 5, Mrs. Harkle is qualified to lead one thing, Harry Harkle. Number 6, why would one think that Smega would resist an attack if she were president? Has she ever refused a man's missile? Number 7, if her body produced the stuff that makes Archie go, Smegs would be lactating AA batteries. Number 8, Megamouth is going to fall hard, but she is never minded falling on anything hard. And number 9, Smega will hold any position a paying gentleman asks her to. Everyone, I have 3 little ladies and 1 gentleman, 3 corgis, and 1 special little girl. And there's the P.O. Box if you would love to send them treats. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit that notification button. And please, I will be praying for all of you. Please call rehab before the next video. Smeg says you've all got a problem and you need help. But, of course, I do too, so I'll be making that call. So, hope you all have too by the time I post the video tomorrow. Let me know in the comments below how it goes. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye-bye.